Hello and welcome to my poem for the day. I've decided just to read one poem, one of my favourite poets, W.B. Yeats, and I think he wrote this in around 1890 while he was a young man living in London. And the title is The Lake Isle of Innisfree. I will arise and go now and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there, of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of the linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore. While I stand on the roadway or on the pavement's grey, I hear it in the deep heart's core. And I think it's a very, very beautiful poem. I'd just like to sort of reflect on it. And what strikes me is about certainly the rhythm, which is very strong. And like others, I recognise a sort of a religious aspect to it. When he uses the I will arise now and go, which is very much like what the prodigal son says in the parable in the Christian tradition. And the son says, I will arise now and go to my father after him squandering all his money. So loose connection, or it could be a very profound connection that Yeats was making to his religious upbringing, but also this yearning for the landscape of Sligo, where he was brought up. So while he's living in London, he takes himself back to this beauty in the composition of this poem. And so he's reflecting and bringing some of that landscape into his own internal world. And I think Yeats, by some miracle, conjures up this beauty for him is a place of peace, and ultimately, I would think a spiritual experience. So the poem itself is describing both the place and conveys probably a love of God. It reminds me of what St. Francis of Assisi said, that for him poetry seemed to convey the love of God and the beauty of the natural world. And this beauty which calls both tenderness and reverence. And perhaps Yeats was, I don't know, perhaps echoing this thought, that describing the beauty of Innisfree, he was describing divine beauty. And when he was in London, he wrote it amongst the hustle and bustle, but was able to write a poem which captured the place that brought him solace and love. And I was thinking perhaps in these dark times that we're living through, challenging times with the virus, that we can find our own Innisfree, so that we can recall a place to bring us comfort, and above all peace. So I think there's a lot to reflect on there, and for me it brings great comfort. And I think Yeats has captured again this natural world, the beauty of the Irish landscape, which is very much to do with what John O'Donoghue, the great writer and poet and philosopher himself, wrote much about the mirroring of the exterior landscape with our own interior landscape. And I think Yeats has produced something quite unique and powerful, and one of my favourites. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you again. And in the meantime, God bless and keep well, keep safe, and See you next time. Bye.